Okay, and last but not least, we have the head honcho himself, Sigma. Alright, so if you die, at least on this version, if you die, you start over here, and if you've used your sub-tanks, they're empty. If you leave the level, you've got to do all the Sigma Fortress all over again, at least here. So, yeah, kind of a pain. But there are little bad guys that pop out of the wall as little worms. You can try to use them to fill up your sub-tanks. It just take forever. And Sigma's babbling on and on about dealing with betrayers, but we didn't really betray him, he betrayed us, so shouldn't the dog turn on him? Anyway, dog is weak to shotgun ice, and bounces around, and he shoots fire, kind of like it's one of the bad guys from one of the early Mega Man games. But a few hits with shotgun ice, he goes down. And then Sigma comes back, teleports in, and after more talking, come on, stop your monologuing. He throws off his cape, pulls out his lightsaber, and goes all Anakin Skywalker on us. Alright, his strategy is really easy. He bounces from side to side, and if you're on the wall, he'll keep bouncing up. And you can keep doing this, and I keep misjudging where he will land and taking hits that I shouldn't need to take. And he can block, if he's blocking with a sword, all of his hits, everything that you hit him will be deflected, so it's not, you gotta aim it right. But he's really not all that difficult, especially once you figure out his pattern. And just like Anakin Skywalker, if we have the high ground, we win. Because as long as we stay up on the wall, he's fine. He won't attack you. He relies on hitting you. And I have to use a sub-tank a little earlier than I was really anticipating using. But I go into his third and final form with full health. Yeah, he's got 3 forms. I jumped the gun. His head is all that's left, and it kind of fuses with a giant mechanical wolf monster. So it's kind of like Rush and Treble, multiplied by 1 billion. And his head is his weak spot. His only weakness is Rolling Thunder. If you hit him with the X-Buster, it does 1 bar of damage. That's even with like a fully charged shot. So yeah, he's kind of a pain. His paws are claws on the bottom, and they shoot lightning both at the top and the bottom. He shoots fire and lightning bolts out of his mouth. One thing you can do, and I'm not going to do it, is if you want to go the X-Buster route, there is one spot on his hands that you can stand, and you're just outside of the range of the lightning. So you can just sit there and charge up the shot, and you can just aim it properly when you're at the top of the arc when they're circling around, and you're pretty much done. You can just peg him forever. It takes forever, but you can do it that way. It's kind of the cheap way to do it, and it does take forever. So now it's just a waiting game of, can I get one more hit in on him before he rapes me? And part of it is hoping that he throws the paws down so you can jump on them. But we got the one hit, and we decapitate him again. And he's a Reploid, and he shouldn't be beaten by us, because I love how it's, oh, well, I'm modern technology, but I'm based off of you, so I've got to be superior, even though I'm based on your specs, and we don't know your specs, your complete specs as it is. And somehow Sigma Fortress was a floating island out in the middle of the ocean. that we have just decimated, which we can't even begin to fathom the ecological ramifications of that. And the ending music now is actually kind of badass. I really like it. It's kind of depressing, but because the whole X series was meant to be depressing, which is why I take a lot of exception to a lot of what's been retconned in and out. The X series was meant to be depressing. It was the dark side of the Mega Man universe. And it's the first time of many that Zero's going to sacrifice himself, and it's the first time you sit here and see X questioning, why are we doing this? Is fighting even worth it in the end? It's like, was there another way? Yeah, there was another way. You could have gone Maverick and joined him. It's like, that's the other way. And some of it's kind of, he'll fight Mavericks again before. It's again foreshadowing. They already know that there's going to be more of this. And it's like, the X-Buster on his hand knows for sure. It's like, okay, the X-Buster is now sentient. No, that's the whole thing. If we're going to program the robots to have weaponry, they're going to keep fighting. So it's kind of Dr. Light's fault. It's like, they have things that can be used as weapons. They're going to be weapons. And then you're just going to put a plasma accelerating cannon on one of them. What else is that going to be used for? Not surgery. Then we've got the cast, and the cast actually names the robot bad guys. So if you're ever curious about what their names are, you can go through and look, and it's basically a process of elimination. Because some of them I'm not sure who they are, but you can kind of figure it out by looking at the names versus who they are. And as X travels down the highway, it's daylight's breaking, and it's a new day, it's a new dawn. There's a song with similar lyrics to that. But it's... I always knew the X series was darker. It just had a much darker tone. And for a lot of things that were confirmed, the X series just starts to contradict itself the later it gets. To the point to where, well, I mean, X5 was okay, but I stopped paying attention about X5. X6 was an abortion of a game, honestly. That was just horrible. X7 was worse because they tried to go the 3D route, and it just proves that not all games need a 3D remake. It just didn't work. Mega Man Legends worked great for 3D. This, not so much so. And then X8, I hear X8 actually had some good things to it, but it just, the story at that point is so far contrived that it's no, you just can't. And X charges up for the last time and shoots for no reason. But, and you as Mega Man X, thank you for playing, that sort of thing. And then at the end of all of this, there's a message that I'm going to show. And I'm going to keep kind of rambling about the X series. I really liked it growing up. X4 is my favorite, and again, X4 was supposed to be the dark accumulation. It was going to be the end. But the thing is, they can't ever end it. They can't ever say what happens at the end of the X series that leads into the Zero series, because then they don't get to make any more games, and then they don't get to make any more money off that franchise. Like Mega Man, the original series, they do the DLC, the Mega Man 9, the Mega Man 10. If they ever say what definitively happens between the original series and the X series, that's the end of it. They can't make anything more. That's just it. Which is why I think they retconned out that Zero was supposed to have killed X. And people saying that, people who quote the designer saying that that's not in Zero's character, that's complete and total bullshit. And I say that because X was designed by Dr. Light as a counter to Zero, who's created by Dr. Wily. Dr. Wily's plan was to kill Mega Man from day one. Mega Man and Dr. Light and take over the world. That was his plan. You can't say that the robots Base was designed to kill Mega Man. That's what he was designed to do. And it drove him crazy with an inferiority complex. You can't say, oh, it's not in Zero's character. Zero's killed everybody. He tried to kill Vile. He's killed Sigma a couple of times. Speaking of, here's the message from Sigma. And then Zero even killed his own girlfriend in X4. In addition to killing himself and going crazy and trying to kill X. It's like, no. The X series was dark. And this even proves it. Sigma's not dead. They made it dark. He's going to come back. He's going to cause more problems. He wants to kill humans. That's his thing. Anyway, that's the end of the rambling for it. We're here at the save screen. So, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of quick, thrown together LP. I hope you've tolerated my post commentary as opposed to my live commentary. So, yeah. I will see you in future projects. Till then, later everyone.